Welcome to the Empowered Embodiment Revolution, where women leaders reveal how to liberate yourself from body battles so you can follow your heart, own your power, and shine in the world. I'm Darlene Downing. I am your host for this event, and I am thrilled to be here with you today. I have with me the fabulously sumptuous, sensational, and beautiful-hearted Stephaney Robinson-Abilon. Stephaney is a dear mentor and friend and colleague of mine, and she has taught me so much on my journey to follow my heart, own my power, and shine my light in the world, and I am just so thrilled to introduce her to you today. Stephaney is dedicated to bringing the sacred to life. Born and raised in the heartland of Iowa, she lived amidst the vibrant bustle of a New York City skyline, as well as along the sandy shores of the Carolina Seas. She's written numerous children's books, including Otis and Clarence and Monster, both dusty and on the shelf waiting to be published. She is a profound lover of movement, art, creativity, gardening, storytelling, and the body in all its modalities and forms. Utilizing a body-centered approach, she guides others to self-discovery and healing through classes, workshops, retreats, and teacher trainings. Her classes, workshops, retreats, and trainings are designed to connect and expand the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual realms, weaving nature, music, meditation, and play into her craft. A NIA faculty trainer, as well as faculty member of the Sophia Institute, creator of Dream Alice and Chakra Journeys. She teaches internationally as well as in her own backyard. It is her dream to share this work with you. Stephaney joins us here today to share her love and passion in empowering women as we dive into the topic, the wise woman's body, healing through movement. So welcome, Stephaney. I just can't tell you how excited I am to have you here today.
Hi, Darlene. Darlene. Thank you, my love. I am so excited to be here. It's really a joy to spend this time with you.
I feel the same way. And I would love to get your wisdom on the topic that we are focusing on throughout this whole summit, this idea of empowered embodiment.
Mm-hmm.
It's been so interesting that all of the speakers have a different way of saying it, yet I feel like we're all at the heart talking about the same thing. So I would love to hear your perspective or point of view on what empowered embodiment is.
Empowered embodiment. Well, power, meaning not power over others, but our own personal power, and embodiment, bringing something into the body. And so if I am to look at that, my impression is it's all about simplicity and choice, not to complicate, but to simply say, how can you utilize choice to bring more awareness into your life, more sensation into your life, and to really just actually know that you have a body, and to start putting the focus on bringing it back to the body, bringing your focus back to your body, giving the body priority.
Yes, giving the body priority. I think that I feel for myself that's been my journey. I was not putting my body's needs as a priority in my life, and I love that you've brought that to this definition.
Simply trusting the body. We spend a lot of time in our minds, and we spend a lot of time in our emotions, and we often give the mental realm and the emotional realm priority, and physically that doesn't get the priority. And so I would like to guide others. I do guide others to put that as priority.
Beautiful. And that guide word is so awesome too. That we really do have the wisdom within. It's just a matter of returning ourselves back to that. It's not telling you new information. It's more of just allowing you to find your way back to that place, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. So I would like to ask you now if you are open to share what your body journey has been. If there was a time where you didn't feel empowered in your body, or you were disconnected from your body, what was going on, and what your biggest challenges were, and then ultimately, was there a time or a crossroad that you came to where you realized, wow, something needs to shift, and yeah, how you got there?
Yeah. Well, I do have a story, and actually, I can say that a sneeze, achoo, changed my life. And I was quite young. I was possibly 18 or 19 years old. And I remember very clearly standing outside in front of the patio of my home with my father, with my dad, and we were talking, and I sneezed. And the power of the sneeze actually threw my back out. And I said to him, Dad, I can't stand up. And I couldn't straighten myself back up. And I really had never had any back pain, and I had been quite athletic at that point in my life. I was a runner, I played frisbee, I bicycled, I just did all different kinds of activities. And so that took me into a journey of really learning that I was born with a type of hyperlordosis, which is a type of sway back. And so this is spinal health that really became my focus. And so, yeah, well, I immediately went to my father's chiropractor, which back at that time, chiropractic was not really being commonly used. And he also suggested I see a doctor to talk about maybe needing surgery. And that was very scary. Remember, I was only 18 or 19 years old. And I went into this doctor, and the doctor said, yes, here's a sheet of exercises to do, and probably will have to do surgery. And if not, you'll most likely be in a wheelchair by the time you're 30 years old. And yeah, and so that was a real awakening for me. And it was really a path of immense pain. I had sciatic nerve issues, which were hereditary, but a lot of my body was, I would actually, I know this doesn't sound pretty, but I would literally pull on my hair to create pain in a different part of my body so that I wouldn't have to focus on my pain if I was having a sciatic nerve. And if anybody has had sciatica, they will understand the so I started seeing a variety of doctors, and one of them told me, you really need to strengthen your body. And I said, okay, how do I do that? And this was back in the late 70s, early 80s, probably, and so I started actually doing weightlifting. It was really all that was available to me, and I started doing aerobic classes, actually high-impact aerobic classes, and I started exercising. And I would occasionally have flare-ups, and but I was getting stronger, but I was also becoming more stiff, and that was a big thing that I found in my life, that I had an immense amount of stiffness. So, would you like me to continue?
Yeah. So can you share? What was the thing that began to shift that stiffness? Because you're no longer, I've seen you on the dance floor, and you are no longer stiff. So, yeah, take us from there. Where did you go from there?
Well, I did a lot of years of aerobic exercise, and I became what was now known as a personal trainer. And then I was following the path of continuing education credits and certifications in that line. And I went down to New Orleans, Louisiana, and I was really a little disheartened in the fitness industry at that time. Step aerobics was becoming very popular, and that type of movement really aggravated my sciatica, aggravated my hip joints. And so I was feeling a little forlorn, and I went on ahead and signed up for all of the classes, and I was walking out of the studio, actually the hotel where all of these events were going to be taking place. And down on the floor in front of me as I exited the building was a flyer that said, Mind, Body, Spirit, Fitness. And so I picked it up, and it had a picture of a man and a woman. And I read it while I walked back to where I was staying in New Orleans. And in that moment, I decided that I was going to forego all of the classes I had registered for and spend the next 2 days doing this mind, body, spirit fitness program that was called NIA. I'd never heard of it. But, you know, I had seen the people throughout the auditorium and throughout the hotel, and they were very unique. And they were Carlos Rosas and Debbie Rosas, now known as Carlos Io Rosas and Debbie Rosas Stewart. And so I signed up for their course, and I walked in, and it was exactly what I had been looking for. It was exactly what my body had been missing. I knew the moment I started.
Wow. Your wise, wise body that got you to that class, right, Stephaney?
Yes, yes, a flyer on the floor. Now if I want to leave someone a note, I throw it on the floor. I know they'll see it.
So great. Well, you and I share a love and passion for Nia, and I know a lot of the listeners that will be tuning in are familiar with Nia, but some aren't. And so for anyone that is hearing about Nia for the first time, I'd love for you to share what that experience could be for them if they were to take a class.
I could go on and on and on about how to describe Nia, and I want to say it's very self-expressive. Let me talk about it from an individual perspective. If someone were to come to me and I would see that they were more athletic, I could say to them, yes, Nia is very athletic. It's a wonderful conditioner, and it helps get your body fit. If someone comes to me and they have more of a yoga or dance background, I can talk to them about what Nia can provide for them. If I have someone come to me and who says, I do very little movement, I'm carrying extra body weight, I can tell them how Nia can benefit them. Meaning that we take martial arts, dance arts, and healing arts. We take 3 planes, low, middle, high, high, middle, low. 3 levels of intensity. Level 1, closer to the body. Level 2, bigger. Level 3, bigger still. And this allows athletes to work next to someone who has absolutely no movement skill, next to someone who has severe arthritis. And Nia is actually a 60-minute fitness program done to wonderful music, and that allows you to move in a guided way, but yet then release and self-express however you feel. You can do exactly what I'm doing. You can grow on what I'm presenting.
Yes, yes. And I know my experience with Nia. I was at a place where I had been beating my body up on the treadmill, and Nia brought me back in balance and harmony with being able to receive, like that softer energy, more fluid energy. You talked about stiff. I was definitely stiff. I didn't really have any flexibility in my body, and it restored balance in my body. And so don't you think that's why it fits for everyone, because Nia rebalances us. So if you are someone who needs that more reflective, meditative, softer movement, you can receive that. Or if you need more focus with the power and the Taekwondo energy, you can receive that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what helps our body craft and shape. And for example, a runner has a specific type of body. A ballerina has a specific body. Body has a supple athleticism. We work to shape and define the body, and we work with the whole body. And since we do use martial arts as well as dance arts as well as healing arts, our bodies are able to tap into a variety of movement forms, and that will give the body not just one outlet, not just one release, not just one shape, not just the soft, but the soft as well as the strong.
Yes, the balance of the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's really helpful just to get a taste. And then beyond that, it really is a personal experience, isn't it? It's one of those things we do our best to put words to, and you really, to truly get it, you have to experience it for yourself, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. Just as with any practice, if you want to get the benefits of Nia, you really need to do Nia. If you want to get the benefits, you need to do yoga. If you want to be a great writer, you have to write. If you want to be a wonderful photographer, you have to photograph. And so, yeah, it is. I have found someone shows up, the first time it's a new experience. The second and third time, by that time they have really begun to own the technique for themselves, to really become more familiar with what the body and dancing to the music can offer them. So one time, two times, three times, you're usually there.
I was there the first time.
And I know, me too, the first moment, the first step.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you for going into that a little deeper. I appreciate it. I'd love for us to lead into how we use movement to heal the body. Like, I remember having a class and I mentioned to the students that we were going to do self-healing, and there was this disconnect and this, how am I going to heal my body from this class, you know? And it was an assumption I was making that I didn't really, I was like, oh, you know. So I'd love for you to talk about that. How do we heal our body, and can we heal our body through movement?
Yes, absolutely. Through movement, we find health. And as someone personally I was actually afraid to move my body. And remember that I had tremendous pain, and I was actually guided not to move my body. And so I was just becoming more stiff and more rigid, actually. And so when I began doing this practice of Nia, what I found was that I was getting little adjustments in my spine as I moved. I wasn't counting on that. No one told me that this practice would heal me. No one told me. It just made me feel good. And I thought it was an additional way that I could teach. But I started moving, and then I noticed some things. As I moved, I would self-adjust. I could hear my body adjusting itself. And then I would crawl into bed at night and then curl my knees up, and I was becoming more flexible. I was getting a longer range of motion. And these things took me by surprise. They were added benefits. And so I thought, wow, there really is something to this self-healing through movement. And I found that I was becoming more flexible. I was becoming more agile. I could move in ways that I couldn't move previously. Like, for example, if I would step down off a curb and step just maybe wrong, or step on a rock and my ankle would quick flick, I could adjust myself really quickly so as not to turn my ankle. And that's crucial in agility, to actually know that we have a body and to be aware in our body through sensation that can help us make our body make choices for self-healing. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it's very empowering. I love that we are bringing this to the conversation instead of just tripping and then, oh my gosh, I've got to go to the doctor and figure out, what's going on, which there's nothing wrong with doctors. And there's another possibility, right? That wow, wonder body so that I can readjust and then also improve my agility so that this doesn't happen again, right?
Right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I love that. Now, I have learned so much from you with the energies of my body and chakras, and I know this is something that you're passionate about. And so I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that and also, how it relates to moving our body, moving energies through the chakra systems, and just whatever you want to bring to the conversation as it relates to the wise woman's body and healing through movement.
I love working with the chakras from a body movement perspective, a body-centered movement perspective, meaning that there's really no separation. I mean, perhaps if you love to do yoga, if you love to do Nia, or you have a body practice that you enjoy doing, an awareness of the chakras, which are energy systems in the body. They're not something that you can see, but let's look at how we feel the chakras in our body, or how we sense them in our body. If you've ever walked into a room and you feel uncomfortable and your hands go right to this area, your solar plexus, right below your heart, around your ribs, you're protecting yourself. If someone has said something to you and you feel like you've been socked in the gut, you know these feelings. They reside in particular areas of the body. And for example, if you feel like you're not speaking up, your chakra here, your fifth chakra, when you know something here, your sixth chakra, you're intuiting something, that all of these is universal. Everybody has them, and everybody can tap into where you can be stuck and get unstuck in a chakra. That's my language. Maybe it's an excess or a deficiency in a certain chakra. So I had a friend once in the Midwest say to me, Stephaney, your body is a storage unit, and you will pay a storage fee. Get that stuff out of there. And so if we look at this in our heart area, we hold our grief and also our happiness. And when we get moving, we can start releasing that. That's how we get that stuff out of there. Again, through movement, we find health. If you allow your body to shimmy, it will start to release. Mm-hmm. And you can release in tears. You can release in the form of laughter. And in each part of the body, we will hold different emotions, different thoughts. And once you start moving them, they can be released, yeah? And that helps self-heal. We had talked earlier about what is happening in the body when we hold things that are like thought create battery acid or peach juice in our body. And really, where do you want to hang out, We know what happens.
I love that. I love that. I remember you saying that to me a while back. What do you want, battery acid or peach juice? I want peach juice. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it creates. Well, that's what it creates. So these are the different chakras in the body. There is a tremendous amount of information out there on the chakras. But what I really like to work with my students is if there's a particular area in your body. Like, for example, if you're feeling disconnected from the earth or you're having trouble grounding, that's really more the first chakra. If you're having issues around the heart where you are perhaps going through a breakup or perhaps not certain where you are in relationship to your life or to your loves. That can hold itself in the heart center area. So each chakra contains, a different perspective, shall we say, or a different energy. Really, is the better word. It's our perspective that we bring to it. Yeah.
Beautiful. And what I love with your approach with the body is that it gets us out of the head again, which is a time that we can hang out in our head so much and trying to figure out, okay, what chakra's blocked, or what's going on, and that the going to the physical, getting into the body and moving the body can, like you said, with the shimmy, open up the heart, or this type of movement, creating space for that blocked energy to move, that
Yeah.
it allows the body to intuit and know what it needs to release when we follow the movement.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The key, really, I think, to almost everything is through the spine. And as someone who has had limited ability at times in my life through the spine, there are many expressions: healthy spine, healthy mind, free the spine, free the mind. And truly, the one I love the most is the key to a longer and more vital life is through the spine. So if we look at that, the spine connects through all of our chakras. It also is part of the movement of the pelvis, the chest, and the head. So in NEA, we call those the three body waves. And I have to say that for most of my life, I looked at the spine as being very rigid, and I moved my body as such. But then when I started to work with the space between the pelvis, the space between the chest, and the space between the head, I realized, hey, our body is primarily made up of liquid and space. And if we perceive it as such, we become more light and more fluid in everything we do. And so our movement then becomes lighter and fluid. The key to that is you don't have to have any type of background in order to do that. Just like, I encourage people to find a teacher. Find the teacher. Ask for the teacher in your life that you need right now to show up for you. How many times have you done that, Darlene, and the teacher shows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that Debbie and Carlos showed up in my life at the perfect time. And then I've had many, many teachers show up and are still showing up.
Yes, that's really so much of why this summit has evolved too. We are all at different places on our journeys with our bodies, in our lives, and we need different things to support us. And so to have all of these amazing women like yourself that are here with their unique perspective, their journey, what they have to offer, is what I was hoping would happen here, so that, if whatever story, whatever situation resonates, connect with that teacher. And neither one of us did it alone. We had support, and I just want to encourage the women, all of you who are listening, to get the support. Put that question out there: who is my next teacher? And then what that next step is.
Yeah, I encourage that. And there are so many teachers out there just waiting for the students. Yeah, we love sharing. I love sharing what I do.
Me too. That's why I've had so much fun on this summit. We've got to talk about a topic near and dear to my heart for over and
Yes, great.
So, did you want to speak a little bit more about the spine? I know that's been a huge part of your healing journey, correct? Healing through the spine?
Yes. Well, I'd like to say that, that one of the things that's very unique about teaching movement and teaching NEA is that we really focus on the spine. We really focus on spinal health, and we focus on letting the body, moving the pelvis, moving the chest, and moving the head. And I know from the perspective of not moving my head when I was injured, just learning that, really just, Darlene, learning the body we were born with for a reason. And I can't tell people what that reason is. It's self-discovery. We were all born with the body we were born with for a reason. And I found that I was born with a body that had a spine that needed help. And so by approaching movement and finding the right movement for my body, for my spine, which was more fluid, more strength, more agility, flexibility. And so that I found that I was able to then increase the mobility in my body, increase. I live in an absolutely pain-free body right now. It blows my mind. Absolutely pain-free.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that was, I really did think that there were times I wasn't going to be able to even stand up straight. There were times I couldn't. And so now that I can move the way that I move, and I move at 50 plus years of age better than I did when I was 20. And that's important to me. As long as I'm on this planet, I want to feel good. And I want to be able if I am feeling some pain, I want to be able to take a look at it, ask my body, what is it that you need? How can I help you heal? And I really do dialogue with my body that way. And I want to tell you a little story about September. I started feeling pain in one foot. It felt kind of around the arch. That was new to me. I had not experienced that. Fortunately, in my work, I am surrounded by a lot of healers.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I've got something going on, there's typically a massage therapist in the room or a Reiki person in the room or someone who can help me. I also know how to go in and use principle number 5 in NIA, which is awareness. And it's awareness, and we use pain and stimulation, awareness, stimulation, self-healing. And so I always looked at that. How can I use my own body awareness? Awareness is key. Emily Conrad from Continuum always said, without sensation, the body can't know anything. Without sensation, the body can't know anything. And so sometimes pain is an indicator, but sensation can also be pleasure. Let me get back to what happened with my foot. So I also then, I was out of town. I was teaching in Richmond, and I was surrounded by a lot of healers up there. And I came home and I went to my chiropractor, and he worked with my foot too, and that helped. So, and then I was dancing, and while I was moving, I would go in and say, okay, that feels good. Oh, if I move that way, that's too much. Okay, I can do this. Because, I like to find ways to move pleasure into pain while I'm moving. Mm-hmm. And I really need my body. I rely on my body. And so I knew that I was getting ready to go teach another white belt training, this one in Myrtle Beach. I was a little concerned. I'm going to be dancing several days in a row. And by the end of the week, by dialoguing with my body, asking my body, what do you need, body? What do you need? And my body said, you know what? I don't need a lot of agility right now. Can you teach class but take out the agility? Yeah, I can do that. And so I did, and I just simply listened. While I was standing, I listened. When I was walking, I would listen. And by the end of the week, the pain was completely gone. As a matter of fact, I'd forgotten about it. It just wasn't there anymore.
Wow.
And so this is how we can heal. This isn't just available to me. I do have that agreement with my body now, but it's universal. It's available to everybody.
It's so awesome. It's an inspiring example of what's truly possible, that when we get into that space of communing with our body and checking in with our body, which I feel is not how most people right now on the planet typically relate to our body, which is why I'm loving having this conversation, that there's other choices. But
Mm-hmm.
when you did that with your body, she guided you to what you needed to do yourself, and if you needed to get assistance from you know, healthcare professionals like you knew, and that's very empowering as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I love it. Just love it.
Yeah. Well, I do want to go back in and say that it is available to everybody, and I do agree that again, as we said in the beginning, giving body priority is key. And sometimes some of us have been guided away from the body to not actually allow ourselves to even pay attention to what the body can provide, the pleasure that the body can provide. And part of that in the work that I do is when I'm moving, there's a certain type of I'm going to use this language, life force energy. But let me tell you what that means. That simply means the thing that makes the body feel alive.
Mm.
The thing that makes the body feel alive. And that's really what we're going for in movement. And we call it joy of movement. And so really it's, again, it's available. It's just tapping into, is this movement that I'm doing, is it hurting me? Does it feel good? Is this movement making me feel better? And then just paying attention to get to such an incredible level with it, Darlene, that you actually become attention.
Ah, love that. Become attention. And you know what came to me too before you were mentioning that the body isn't there without sensation. Is that how you phrased it?
Yeah, without sensation, the body can't know anything. We need sensation to be able to know.
Right. And so the sensation, actually, what came to me was the sensation's always present. It takes our awareness to pay attention to the sensation for us to know, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Awareness, 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 awareness. And awareness is a practice. It's a practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love to just say, I'm going to wake up and just be aware this morning. And then I start practicing awareness. And, oh, you know, maybe the shampoo I'm using or the lather, or just being, you know, manipulating sensation in a way. And then realizing, hey, you know, it's been a few hours and you've lost sensation. And so really sustaining, and I love that word, you know, I love that word, sustaining on a moment-to-moment basis of being in sensation. And so that means even walking. Sometimes I really get a kick out of just standing in line. And while I'm standing in line, instead of going into thought of, oh, I'm being late, this person needs to do a different type of job or something, I'll go into my body. And again, that's back to the battery acid and the peach juice. I'll drop into my body and I'll just pay attention to how I'm standing. Oh, you know, what are my hips doing? What are my knees doing? Am I standing with my knees locked? I used to do that a lot. And I no longer do. I just go in and I track, and I use sensation to get me there. So that allows me to go in and just shift, so I have a completely relaxed and comfortable body.
That's so great. And, you know, for anyone who struggles with meditation or awareness, this practice of awareness, using the body as your tool to check in with where you are through sensation, you can tweak and feel better in your body and choose more pleasure, and you can also bring yourself to the present moment that way, right?
Absolutely. You know, and we call it life as art when you're in action, when you're doing, and living meditation is really the non-doing, and so that helps us perceive life as art,
Mm.
dancing through life,
Yes.
living meditation,
That's
yeah, and life as art, yeah. So it's all about, I think, perspective, and being in a perspective that helps you become inspired.
beautiful. I would love to ask you now, what is your favorite embodiment tool to create the wise woman's body? You know, what is something that is your go-to that you do when you want to empower yourself in embodiment that everybody can take away?
Well, I think this is available. This is what I do, and so I'll speak to me first. I put on music and I dance. It's my way, and anyone can use that tool. Anyone can dance. Anyone can move to music, and I listen to the music and I dance to the music, and it has allowed me to get answers that sometimes I also use meditation as a tool. I also use prayer as a tool, but my main primary go-to is movement. And I don't have to I don't have to dance for an hour. I can, but sometimes just putting on a song and just moving can just break free so much stuck energy. I want to address that depression is compressed energy in the body, and I'm just addressing something that everyone can experience from time to time in their life. And by moving the body, that expands and pushes that energy out. And it can shift, even if it's just allowing you to shift to get through that hour or that day or that week or that month or that interview or that conversation. That moving the body helps move that energy.
Beautiful. And, you know, to invite everyone who it doesn't feel like they like to dance, that dance doesn't have to look anything other than you just moving your body to the music, right?
Right. Yes, and I do understand that dance is not the go-to for everybody. And I also know, but just taking a walk and getting the body moving. And just really the specific thing is my go-to is dance. But find your go-to, whether it's stretching, doing yoga, whether it's taking a walk. It really is about simply getting the body moving.
Yes, yes, and moving for the sake of connection rather than, oh, I've got to go get on that treadmill for an hour and burn 500 calories, or I have to do something, like just more of this communion and connection with your body.
Well, it does go to choice. So I think for whatever people are going to choose that is going to make their body feel better, that's really whatever choice they want. I love that we all have choice. We all have the ability to choose. And so when you ask me about an empowered body, I think, I know that for me it all comes down to choice. To choose. Am I going to do yoga today? Am I going to go take an extra Nia class? Am I going to teach more? What am I going to do? And so to choose, it's choice in everything we do. Yeah. The conversations we have, the food we put in our body, the food we don't put in our body.
Yeah, and create more pleasure and peach juice.
Yeah.
I don't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Exactly. I could talk to you about this forever, and I'm going to be mindful of the time. I am just so grateful that you have shown up in this summit and offered your wise self and all of your pearls that you have to everyone that's listening. And I know you and I were speaking before that you have something additional, an additional gift that you would like to offer the women who are participating in this summit, which I so appreciate. And I'm going to turn the conversation over to you and let you share what your free goodie is.
Okay, great. I would love to offer for the first 10 women who would like to talk to me personally. I'd like to spend 30 minutes with you on the phone. You can share with me your concerns. You can share with me where you feel stuck. You can tell me what is happening in your life. And let's see if there is uh, some kind of insight or guidance that I can share with you. So I would personally love to talk to you. It really is my dream to share this work with you. And I have studied in a lot of different modalities, and I really can share from a perspective of the chakras, archetypes, goddesses, and but truly into the perspective of the body. And perhaps there's some little nugget that I can give you that would allow you to make choices if you're ready. Yes?
Mm. Thank you so much for offering that, Stephanie. And everybody, I highly recommend if Stephanie's resonating with you and you're feeling like this is something that you want to explore further, go to the link that's below this video, and that will give you access on how you can connect and claim your body wisdom breakthrough session with Stephanie. So just click on that link. And Stephanie, I know you're up to so many cool things. I want to just give you a couple minutes if the listeners want to dive into more of what you're creating in the world and what you're offering. Is there anything else? I know you do Dream Alice and you do retreats. Anything coming up that you'd like everybody to know about?
Well, I will be offering, I'm really putting my 2015 schedule out there right now, and there's a lot of conversation. And I'll be doing, of course, white belt and green belt trainings through MIA. I'll also be offering Dream Alice workshops, and I'll be offering, I'm talking about everything from a retreat to Mexico and a retreat to Greece, and to actually spending some time working more with the muse. And so I will have a list of all of my workshops online on that link. And so there's everything from spending a day-long retreat, an hour-long class, to a 7-day-long training. That it just really depends on where the curiosity is and how deep you want to go with the work.
You want to talk just real quickly about what Dream Alice is?
Dream Alice is, we're all mad here. You know, it's really an opportunity to go down the rabbit hole. And one of my students approached me, Larissa, and she said, Stephanie, you really should do this Dream Alice work, or you should do something to do with Alice in Wonderland. And I said that was curious, since I'd always been very drawn to it. So I came up with a one-day workshop that is the 5 keys to Wonderland. And it does involve movement, it involves art, it involves music, and creativity is really about spontaneously pulling on your creativity. And Alice offers so much character, and it's truly something I want to refine and grow on in the coming year. So I could spend hours talking with you about Dream Alice. I think there are a lot of Alice fans out there too, so it's a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, a lot of lightness, a lot of madness. Yeah.
There's that fine line, isn't there, between madness and laughter?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that sounds like fun, going down the rabbit hole together, for sure.
Yeah, jump in.
Oh, well, thank you, Stephanie, so much for saying yes to the summit, for being part of this conversation to empower women. And I just appreciate you so much. I'm so grateful that you've been my mentor and continue to be my mentor. And just thank you for all that you're doing in the world.
Thank you too, Darlene. And I want to thank you for what you're doing right now, how important it is, and to reach women. If this tool allows me to reach someone that I ordinarily would not have gotten to reach, or any of the women that are sharing this work, I am so grateful for this opportunity to really be of service in any way that I can. And I also want to talk briefly before we go. I want to really thank my teachers. I think it's so important. You know, what Debbie and Carlos have brought to me over the years, what I want to thank my teacher, Gloria Karpinski, who really has guided me to be barefoot on holy ground. And we had three really important women who have left, who have passed on in the past few years. One of them is Lane Redman, who was one of my teachers on the frame drum. She wrote the book When the Drummers Were Women. And also Emily Conrad, the founder of Continuum, a deep dive work that I truly love. Gabrielle Roth, who has touched many with her 5 rhythms. These are 3 really powerful women that even though their work is still on the planet, they no longer are. And they're still very powerful people here teaching. Those are some of my teachers that I really want to thank. And I also want to put a shout out to my sister, Shauna. She was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And an incredible year for her in radiation and chemotherapy. And so she's coming through on the other end beautifully, as she has brought grace and beauty to this to her treatment. And just want to tell her how proud we all are of her, and for everything she shows us in this life. And it makes me really understand again and again and again how important it is to live in a healthy body. So.
Thank you, Stephaney. Thank you for bringing awareness to your teachers and for honoring them. And I, too, have so much gratitude for all of the many teachers that I've called in that have shown up. Call, you being one of them, and several other women who are on this summit. And you know, this awareness that we're not meant to do it alone, that we have a whole supportive community that's available to us, and this knowing that we as women have a choice now on how we want to live in our bodies, and that we can be empowered in our bodies and fully shine our light now. I just thank you for bringing that to this conclusion, and I want to thank all of the women who have said yes to themselves, who have taken the time to listen to these fabulous women and these amazing conversations. And I invite you to take what they've shared, apply it in your own life if it resonates. And if you need further support, reach out to that teacher that resonates with you. We're all here, and we didn't do it alone, and you don't have to do it alone. So we're all standing together in this empowered embodiment journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If any of my trainees out there have or students that have worked with me in the past, and you have some questions, or you feel like there's something that needs to be addressed, I open the door for that to help. I am here to, again, help you fulfill your dreams. And so let me know if there's something something exciting you want to share, or if there's someplace you feel like you are experiencing lack or fear. Really, we don't want to let fear hold us back. Only love. Yeah.
That's right. Oh, it's been amazing, Stephaney. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for being part of this extraordinary journey. This is our last interview in the series, and it has been a blessing beyond measure in my life to be able to share these women with you. And I just wish you all of the happiness and the joy and the bliss that is your birthright in your empowered body. So love to all of you. Thanks, Stephaney, so much.
Yes, thank you, dear one. Goodbye now.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.